Honeycomb Pond!
Hey gamers, welcome to my collection update for February of 2014. My video is going to have a segmented structure again like it did a few months ago. And I'm starting off with just talking about a few PS3 games. The first one, as you can see here, is Saints Row 4. Now, if you know me, you know I absolutely love Saints Row. I have a bit more mixed feelings about Saints Row 4 because essentially you start off, you're the President of the United States, the Earth gets invaded by aliens, and you have superpowers in a virtual reality world. Now this premise sounds amazing. It's like the most random thing you can come up with, and it is tons of fun in practice. But it just feels different to Saints Row 3, because Saints Row 3 feels like Grand Theft Auto, but much more fun. This feels like Grand Theft Auto meets Prototype, which is fine, it's absolutely fine, because it is hilarious and it is tons of fun, but it just feels different. Still though, it has got to be one of my favorite games from 2013. If not my favorite game from 2013, it's a total gem on the PS3, 360 and the computer. So whatever system you play, you can get this game, and you should get this game because it's totally sweet. It's like a 9.5 out of 10 from me. Next is a blast from the past. This is Band Hero by Activision, the same people who made Guitar Hero. And this functions with Guitar Hero peripherals as well. I got this from my cousin, and I'm also borrowing his drum set because my one from Guitar Hero is kind of busted. But yeah, it's got some cool songs on it. If you like rhythm games and you know what the whole band and Guitar Hero thing is like, I don't really need to say a lot of words about this. And finally, Infamous. I got this in a trade at the recent Gaming Bazaar. I gave away my Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2, and I got this black label for the PS3 complete in box, which is pretty sweet. I got this game from Sony's promotion when their PSN servers were down a few years ago, and I played the hell out of it. I beat it already, but it's just good to have a physical copy of such an amazing game. This next pile is all stuff I got from the bazaar. I've only got one GameCube game here, and that's the NTSC version of Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now you'll never guess what I traded for this. So, when a lot of my friends lose their games and stuff, they're often left with stuff that was in the box, such as the box itself or the manual, and they know I'm a collector, so they just give me stuff that's otherwise pretty much worthless. However, to some people they have worth. For example, when I've got the box and manual but I'm missing the game, I just get the game. If I've got the game and box, I'm missing the manual. So they've got value to certain people. Well, someone at the bazaar needed 5 empty PSP boxes, and that is just what I gave for Melee. So that's 2 happy collectors, and me especially happy because I essentially got this for pretty much nothing. And it's a great game, fantastic fighting game by Nintendo. It's already got a sequel out on the Wii, that's Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and that's getting a sequel on the 3DS and Wii U soon. So fantastic game, and I'm really glad to have it in my collection now. The region is not an issue for me because I have a freeloader and I just play any game I like a boss. And next up are some PS2 games. Now, this next one is a masterpiece. It's the favorite game on the PS2 of many people, and it's getting an HD remake very soon, and it's nothing other than Final Fantasy X. It includes the bonus DVD behind the scenes disc, so that's pretty cool. I was debating with myself whether I should get this, because it is getting an HD remake and I haven't played X or X2 before. But for €5, I thought, what the hell, I might as well enjoy it on the PS2. And I might get the HD remake later on down the line. This totally awesome game by Square Enix. The graphics are beautiful, the story is awesome. It's considered by many to be one of the best, if not the best, Final Fantasy game. So yeah, glad to have this in my collection as well. Next up is Need for Speed Underground. This was the first Need for Speed game I ever had, and this is the one that got me hooked onto the franchise. Unfortunately, this copy is missing its manual, but I really don't mind because it's a great game. Good to have something I used to have but don't have anymore. And next up is Manhunt. Now I have the sequel for the Wii, and it's pretty awesome. It's a really gritty game where you have to just kill everyone in the most brutal way possible. It's really gory. It's cool to play when you're angry. I don't know if I'm gonna play this though, because I've played part of the second one, so I'm probably gonna continue with that. And I really don't care about the story. But hey, if I'm ever bored and I'm looking for something violent to pass the time with, this is gonna be what I'm gonna go with. And next up is Project Zero. Now, I'm told this is a very Japanese game. As you can see by the back of the box, there's the main game mechanic is that you're in like a haunted mansion with a camera and you take pictures and there's like paranormal activity going on. Yeah, I don't know what to think of this game, but it looks interesting, I guess, so I might as well give it a shot later on. Also, something interesting. I don't know how well this feature works, but it sounds pretty interesting on the back of the box. Feel your character's heartbeat through the vibration of the analog controller. So yeah, I'm assuming that it has to do with how scared you are, and the more scared you are, the more the controller vibrates. So that adds some more immersion, I'm assuming, to the experience. But yeah, I guess I'll just have to see when I decide to finally play this game. So if you watched my last video, you may have noticed that I predicted that at the bazaar I would have picked up a bunch of PS2 games and a bunch of 360 games. Well, the prophecy came true, because here I have 2 stacks of 360 games. I'm gonna start with this pile. Here we have Left 4 Dead 2. This was actually available on Steam for free during the Christmas holidays, so I got it there already, but it's always nice to have a physical release. It's got great co-op, up to 4 players. It's a zombie shooter game. How can you go wrong with a zombie shooter game? It's just tons of fun, and I'm really glad to have it on the 360. Next is a sealed copy of Beautiful Katamari. I bought 2 of these because the store had 2, and I traded one at the Game Bazaar. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna open this because it's sealed, but as you can probably see here in the corner, the seal's a bit scuffed. So I think I might as well just pop it open and play it, because Katamari is really cool. And I was really glad to find this at a good price, and that means, because I got 2 games for my second copy. I got Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2. Now, I played the first one on the PS3, and I thought it did a really good job of bridging the gap between the prequel trilogy movies and the original trilogy movies. So the sequel will be superfluous, but since it's out and since the gameplay is pretty good, I thought, hey, why not? So yeah, I have this in my collection as well. I'm gonna play the sequel on a different platform, but I really don't mind. I'm just gonna play it because it's fun. And that's really why you should play video games, because they're fun. The second one I got is Time Shift. It's a game whose gimmick is that you control time. That sounds cliche, but also interesting. Got some really mediocre reviews, but I don't mind, because if the game's premise sounds interesting enough, I'm gonna want to buy it. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot eventually too. I bought Mass Effect. As you can see, this is the NTSC-J copy, but that works fine on a PAL. I also bought Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, which unfortunately is missing its manual. But I don't mind, I'll just pick that up at a later date. I got these 3 together at a good price from a good friend, and I'm looking forward to playing them. And next, again from the same dude, I got the first 2 Dead Space games. This is a really awesome game because the atmosphere fits the survival horror genre. This is a bit more actiony, but it's not quite as action-y as the third game of the series. So these two are supposed to be the best two in the Dead Space series, and I'm also going to give these two a shot at some point in time while I've got a lot of games to play. And another one I'm looking forward to playing is Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon. It's a very Japan-ish game with a kind of Western feel. As you can see, there's giant insects rampaging all over the city, and it's up to the player in 3-player online campaign and 6-player survival modes to defeat them. Which sounds interesting. The gameplay looks really cool, so I'm also gonna give them a shot pretty soon, I hope. So, funny story. I took a wrong turn and I ended up down a one-way street, so I kept following the street and I ended up in this back street in the middle of nowhere, where I find this really old game shop, which had some old stock left over. These are sealed NES games, even though the original plastic may not be in the best condition, as you can see here with Excitebike. But still, there were actually 2 copies of Excitebike. The guy forgot to bag one, and I got all these for 20 euros, which is not bad. There's Excitebike, Tennis, Hunt for Red October, and an N64 game, Aerogauge, which seems to be a racing game, like a F-Zero-like thing, which is pretty damn cool. I know virtually nothing about these games because I don't have these systems, and I guess they're up for trade if anyone's interested. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I also bought some more stuff from that guy. From the same guy, here we have a sealed PSP game. This is the premium edition of Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together. It includes a mini soundtrack CD, hardback 48-page art book, and I love those art books, which is called The World of Tactics Ogre. And this is by Square Enix, so you know it's gonna be a good tactical RPG. Next, a couple of PS2 games. Okami, the first one, by Capcom, and this I'm really excited about, Persona 4, with the soundtrack CD included. These were both sealed, but the packaging was so ruined that I might as well have taken it off. Because I'm gonna play both of these games, there's no way I'm not playing these games. Persona 4 is just an amazing RPG. I played Persona 2 Innocent Sin, I believe. Yeah, Innocent Sin, and I absolutely loved it. I skipped Persona 3, but this I'm definitely gonna play. I'm too cheap to buy the PS Vita version right now. But yeah, PS2 version is pretty cool. The graphics still look good. Music sounds awesome. So I'm looking very forward to playing this. Also Okami, but mostly Persona. And then, the guy's like, hey, you're buying so much stuff, why not take the GameCube games? So he gave me these 2 for free. Again, this was sealed, but the seal was in such bad condition I might as well have taken it off. It's Beautiful Joe Red Hot Rumble. I actually already have this on the PSP, and it's quite a fun fighting game. And this one's still sealed, NBA Courtside 2002. As you can see, it's Nortex sealed rather than Nintendo sealed. But oh well, this was free, so I don't really mind. Right, well, I was debating whether to make a different video for my records, because when I make record collection videos, I also want to talk a bit about the music, but I don't really care much about these. I just found them lying around in the attic, so I'm just gonna go through them. Maybe you're interested in records and see something interesting, and you want to point it out in the comments. Maybe you won't, but whatever. Here I have mostly Mexican ballads and some Greek songs. I have Requests from Mexico by Trio Odemira. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing all these wrong. In a Brazilian Mood, the 50 Guitars of Tommy Garrett. The soundtrack to South Pacific. Herb Alpert's Tijuana Brass Volume 2. Sabrica's Soul of Flamenco. Muchado Bonita by José Alfredo Jiménez. Por Todo el Mundo by Luis Alberto del Paraná y los Paraguayos. Festival Flamenco Gitano. Sinikismos Alpha by Vimumutsi. Ο Δρόμος by Μίμης Πλέτσας and Λευτέρης Παπαδόπουλος. Πρώτη εκτέλεση by Μίκης Θοδωράκης, which is actually pretty interesting. Again by Μίκης Θοδωράκης στο πεντάγραμμο. 3 by Βιολάρης. John Vickers at last. Claudio Villa, Canzoni Celebri. Celebri, whatever, however you pronounce it. Mexico, the Manhattan Pops Orchestra. And Cuco Sanchez, Las Canciones de Agustin Lara.